The coach is scolding the players.
Most points ever scored against this school, and it's halftime.
But the players look unconvinced. At this moment, there are whispers again. In a fit of rage, the coach picks up something and throws it at the player. Player's cheek was cut and bleeding. In the face of the coach's concern, he left angrily, and the coach was fired for the incident. Because of his bad record, other schools wouldn't take him. Eventually, he found a job at Mcfarland, a small, remote school. But during his first gym class, the students left the class. Coach tried to stop them, but it didn't work. The coach asked the students to run, but one student simply refused and said he was a member of the football team. One day, the coach's family went to the street to buy something. They saw a bunch of gangsters around them. They were terrified. He rushed away with his daughter and wife, but behind them came the jeers of the people. This story tells us, we must control our emotions. Don't make a big deal out of a small thing. The coach noticed that the kids here were fast runners, so he approached the principal. He wanted to start a cross-country team.
What I don't understand is why we have a football team.
But the principal refused. So he found a boy to write down his actual scores. And with the lure of being able to win a fund, he managed to get the principal to agree to his terms. Soon the man succeeded in organizing a cross-country team. After a period of training, they went to the races. At first, they were ahead of the pack. But when it came to climbing the mountain obstacles, the boys fell behind. They ended up in last place. The coach learned from his experience. He began to take the boys to train on the slopes, but the team thought it was useless. They had an argument about it. The boys chose to quit the team, and the coach returned home with a lot on his mind, only to realize he'd forgotten his daughter's birthday cake. This story tells us, even in the face of adversity, we must find a purpose. The man saw the students sitting on the bridge. He saw the scars on the boy's face. He was so hurt. The coach told the man he forgot to buy a cake for his daughter. Then he seized the opportunity to pull the student off the bridge. After talking to him, the student was no longer angry. He decided to stay. Soon after, they're back in the race. The coach shouted for them, and the students sprinted in the last few seconds. They managed to overtake the first one and won the race. But before they had time to be happy, the other three brothers on the team suddenly asked to leave the team. So the men came to their home for dinner to persuade the family's support, but the boy's father still refused. The coach had no choice but to leave. The next day, the coach went to the picking field to help. In the middle of the day, he felt a pain in his back. He fell to the ground. The family of the three brothers was impressed by the coach's sincerity. They finally agreed to continue their training. This story tells us, don't give up on every teammate. Don't abandon every teammate. While the coach was watching the paper, the lady teacher walks in with an article about the players. The article was about what running meant to them. The female teacher thanks the men with tears in her eyes. In the next race, the coach told everyone that if they finished in the top 4 of the preliminaries, they could go on to the state tournament, and that would earn them a chance to go to college. Soon the day of the qualifier arrived. With the sound of a gunshot, all the teams went out together. But in the middle of the game, Mcfarland's team took a fall. He got up without thinking about the pain, and he's on his way. Soon the race was over. They waited anxiously for the results to be announced. Luckily, they came in 4th place and qualified for the intercontinental competition. On the way back, the coach drove them to the beach. The kids were so excited that they rushed down to the beach. Watching them, the coach's mouth also smiled. This story tells us, when you fall down, it's okay to get back up. The coach received a call. He and his wife came to the scene. When he saw the wound on the girl's leg, he angrily questioned the team.
What happened? You said you had her. You said she was safe.
The next day, he came to the university for an interview. The other team had tried to hire him before, but on the day of the interstate game, the coach showed up anyway. When confronted by the students, he said the team needed a coach. Soon after, the whole town was there to see them off. They arrived at the competition site, but the team suffered from severe motion sickness. During the race, the team is losing strength and falling behind. Team leader is trying his best to take first place, but the rest of the team still had to make up points. And that's when Danny breaks out. He's leapfrogging his opponents one by one. The final results were announced, and Mcfarland was crowned champion. Over the next 14 years, the Mcfarland team would win 9 intercontinental championships, and the boys changed their destiny. This is a story that tells us that if you work hard, can change your destiny.